Well, welcome back. Been away for a while. We took a little vacation, and then we had to catch up from vacation when we got back home. So now we're trying to get back into the swing of things that we had before we left. So we're catching up on these videos. If you remember, we left off with the second fire log, that great big one, and took it all apart. You've seen the video on that. And this is the slideshow of the results, the things that we found that were rather interesting. And we'll run through this, and I'll speak about a little bit about each one, and then if it's a similar item to something we already talked about, we'll just give you a few seconds to look at it and then move on to the next one. This is an advertisement that we're looking at here by Mrs. J.H. Abbott from Lincoln, who had Brahma chickens, and she was selling the light Brahma eggs, and then 50 cents per setting. So I'm assuming that's a dozen. These executor notices, so we've got several of them in this roll. The executor's notice is just that. It tells you who the executor is for the estate of certain people, and the person who is deceased here is Michael Adolph, and appears that his son, also Michael Adolph, is going to be the executor. And then we have some dates and some signatures. So this was posted by the court on the 29th day of January 1900, and it's signed by Louis Adolph and Paulina Adolph, the executors. Oh, excuse me. Misread that, didn't I? So these are the executors. Louis must be the son or maybe brother, and Paulina maybe the widow. It's hard to tell. But the information it gives us is that there is a probate on this estate, and all that probate information is at the circuit clerk's office in whatever county the death took place. And these had to be put into the paper and run for 3 consecutive issues of the paper. And the Lincoln Herald, of course, was a weekly paper, so it was put out for 3 consecutive weeks. Of course, 1900 was an election year, and these are the ballots for the various townships. We've got almost all of them here. This is for Etna Township, and you see the list of Republicans and the list of Democrats, and there was competition in every office except for the constable. Only a Democrat was running, no Republican was running at that time. But this gives you an idea of the balance of Democrats to Republicans in Logan County, Illinois, in 1900. The important one here is the Etna Township, which we just saw, the ballot for that. And this was the notification for the nomination of, and this is just the Republican side of the nominations for the various offices. And it was going to be held in Chestnut. Chestnut and Beeson, I believe, are both in Etna Township. These public sale posters are really neat. It's kind of like going to a auto auction today, and we're looking at the horses and mules that are being sold, which was their version of power during those days. And then the other things that were being sold off for that particular person. In this case is Mrs. Jacob Armbrust, who is selling out her farm equipment and all the livestock. Here's another public sale. Oh, it's the same one. It's Mrs. Jacob Armbrust, but this is the printed version. The other one was a poster that would have been posted around the county, letting people know that that sale was going to take place. But this is what was printed in the paper to alert people to the public sale. Here's another poster, trustee sale of real estate, and P.E. Cool, or Philip E. Cool, was the trustee for the estate of Andrew Armbrust. And this is the trustee sale again for Armbrust. The bottom one is. The top one is, let's see if I can pick out that name real quick. Grant Dunn. It's a versus thing. It's John Bevan versus Grant Dunn. So, or Dunnigan, Donegal. But they're having to sell the real estate because they need money to settle that court case. Okay, Atlanta Township, again, it's even up on the candidates for each of the offices. Administrator's notice for William C. Bell, and the administrator is going to be Andrew H. Mills. This is 13th of March, 1900. I've got these listed in alphabetical order, actually, so that they're looking. And there's the newspaper version of that. Would have been in the paper for 3 consecutive weeks. Another chancery sale. Well, it's that one that we just looked at. But this is the paper that came from the court to put in the paper. Another chancery sale. And an advertisement of W.E. Bullion, who was a local plumber in town during that period of time. Also had other things available, but pumps, windmills, water tanks, kitchen sinks, bathtubs, engine trimmings, etc. So anything to help move water in and out of the house. This is a tax purchaser's notice. Now this person, R.E. Bowman, paid the taxes on a certain property, or there are several different properties here. We've got, it's in Postville edition, and there are, 1, 2, 3 lots in block 29 of Postville edition. So he paid the taxes on these, and he's going to claim them as his property. Actually, there's 4. There's one here. And he's notifying people that he paid the taxes on this property, and he's going to take ownership of it if they don't pay in a given, I think it was 2 years they had to come up with the money to pay the taxes, or the property would become his property. And this is the same thing, only the version that went into the newspaper. Here's the ballot for Broadwell. You can see that there are more Republicans in Broadwell than there were Democrats. And this is a chancery notice. Henry Boos is got a suit against all the people that are listed right in here. There are a lot of names there. I'm not going to try to read them, but this has to be written up and posted in the paper, and there it is. And that's easier to read, of course. The handwriting in the other one was a challenge. Is it for sale? I like this one because it's one of my favorite people from our history is A.D. Cadwallader. And I've talked about him before. He's a Civil War veteran, lost an arm during the war, was a longtime postmaster of Lincoln, and he became an attorney, a respected attorney in Logan County. And this is the handwritten version of a ballot for Chester Township. And again, we're even up on the Republicans and Democrats running for the offices. But what I liked about it was that it's written on the letterhead of the Lincoln Times, which is a rival newspaper in Lincoln at that time. And here's that Chester Township ballot, the Orville Township ballot. So we had, again, even number of candidates for the offices. Another administrator's notice for James Cuthbert estate, and the administrator is J.W. Cuthbert. 14th of March, 1900. And there is that notice up here, and then we got a public sale down here. That's Julia E. Turley and R.C. Maxwell that are selling executors of an estate that stuff's being sold off from. And then the name of the auctioneer is usually given, and sometimes they have the clerk's name down here too, so that we know who was involved in those sales. Here's East Lincoln Township. This one is East Lincoln Township. This is the list of the candidates, and then they took this and put it on the ballot. That's glued to this postcard, so that must be how they got it into the paper. This advertisement for Edison's phonograph. From 1900. All of these were that 1900 period. Here's the Elkhart Township ballot, the written version of it, but I really like this heading for Lincoln Herald. I've not ever seen that one before with the red ink and the complete list of the jobs they do. Okay, here's that Elkhart Township ballot again. Eminence Township ballot. And here's an ad for, or a handout, I guess, for Charles Foster. Foster was a competitor of the Hanger family in the same kind of business, piano and music, organs. And this would be a price list so that they could fill in here the amounts. Chancery sale for September 1895. So that went back a little farther than the 1900, didn't it? But again, we had some complainants suing somebody else, and they had to pay, sell the land off to, or the possessions, whatever the possessions were. And here we have a rental ad by Mrs. M.E. McElvain, through the company of Guttery and Rautenberg, who were real estate people in town. A good farm of 105 acres, 2 miles of railroad station. About 25 acres of wooded. New spring goods for Hawes and Mount Joy in Atlanta. Always like it when we get ads from other towns besides Lincoln in these things. Here's another one for Hawes and Mount Joy, selling hats. Here's another chancery sale. And again, the names are all listed there for who's against who. And petition to sell real estate to pay debts, and that's the same one. Here we have the official ballot for Hurlbutts Township. So, the executor's notice for Abraham Keim, or Kern. I think it's Kerin. 25th of January, 1900. Keirn. Here's the Maggie's signature down here. So here we have an executor's notice for Maggie as the executor of the estate, and these are ads of patent medicine. But what I like about these editor's copies is this has been printed, it's gone to the editor, and the editor has made notes for changes that need to be made, misspelled words, wrong words, whatever, and he gives it back to the typesetter to correct. Money to loan, looking at this, 5% interest. That's pretty good interest. If you need to borrow some money, you can't get that kind of interest rate today on borrowing money. And that's the lowest I've seen for that period of time, because normally it was about 30%. King and Miller, attorneys at law, money to loan. Oh, that was just the thing that we just saw there, King and Miller. That's the note that they gave the paper to write up in formal form. This funeral notice of Mrs. Caroline Lachenmeyer was dated March 6, 1900, and this is the only one I've found in any of these rolls so far in this batch. It's going to be at St. John's, Germany, Evangelical Church. And here's the ballot for Leanna Township. And we've got an independent column here. Somebody looking for running for commissioner of the district. Here's Lake Fork Township. A few more Republicans than Democrats on that one. For sale, this is the Lehman and Ritchie. They're a paint store, wallpaper store. And here's something for sale by A.D. Cadwell. Oh, that was that little note that we saw earlier. This is what it turned out to look like. Okay, another chancery sale. settle a dispute. And this is the same thing. Now these next few are letters to the Herald for ordering medicines or ordering things online in the paper by mail at that time. But that was their online sales at that period of time. But I always like looking at the artwork that these people have on their letterheads. Here's another one of those. This is from Delavan, Illinois. Real estate and exchange. And the New York Tribune, and there were several other large papers from around the United States that would bundle. They would bundle with the Herald, and you get both of them at a special rate. And here's the United States Export Association out of New York. Here's another ad, but I sure like their letterhead. And that's how the ad that ended up coming out of that letter. Here's one for Grano reading notices. And that's it. That's the end of that group. I think there were 104, 105 images that I chose for these for each of these, because there's 50 in this one, or 51, 52, and 50, and the rest of them in the next one. So we'll finish there, and we'll take a look at the next one.